The Library of Alexandria was founded in the 3rd century BC in Alexandria, Egypt by Ptolemy I Soter after the death of Alexander the Great. It was further developed during the reign of his son Ptolemy II Philadelphus. The purpose of the library was to collect and preserve all the knowledge in the world. Alexandria was one of the most important centers of science and culture of that period and a meeting point for scientists, philosophers, mathematicians, and historians. The library's building was constructed as part of the Alexandrian Palace and operated alongside an academy known as the Museum. The museum was also a place for scientific research, lectures, and discussion of ideas. It is estimated that the library contained around 700,000 manuscripts. These manuscripts were stored in papyrus rolls. The library contained works written in different languages, and these works were usually obtained from merchants, sailors, and travelers in the city. The texts obtained from these people were copied in the library, and the originals were returned. In addition, the library management conducted extensive research and collected texts in order to acquire new works for the library. The library hosted the works of many famous scientists and philosophers. These names include Euclid, Archimedes, Eratosthenes, Heron, and Hipparchus. Scientists working in the library produced important works in many different fields such as mathematics, astronomy, physics, medicine, literature, and geography. Although there is no exact information about the destruction of the Library of Alexandria, it is known that it suffered various damages in different periods. The first major damage occurred in 48 BC during Julius Caesar's siege of Alexandria. During this event, part of the library was burned. Later in the 3rd and 4th centuries AD, the library was damaged by various fires and attacks. It is believed that the library was finally destroyed in 391 on the orders of Theophilus, Bishop of Alexandria. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria is considered one of the greatest losses of knowledge in human history. The countless works stored in the library constituted an important part of the knowledge of that period, and the loss of these works greatly affected scientific and cultural development. The purpose of the Library of Alexandria was to collect and preserve all the knowledge in the world. By establishing the Library of Alexandria, the Ptolemaic dynasty succeeded in making Egypt the intellectual center of the Hellenistic period. This library was not only a place where books were collected, but also a center for scientific research and philosophical debate. The library's collection included important texts of the period, such as the works of Homer, the historical writings of Herodotus, and the philosophical works of Plato and Aristotle. There were also texts from Egypt, Mesopotamia, India, and China. The library was a place where knowledge from different cultures was brought together and compared. Scientists working in the Library of Alexandria did important work in various fields, such as mathematics, astronomy, physics, medicine, geography, and literature. For example, Eratosthenes calculated the circumference of the Earth quite accurately. Eratosthenes, who was also the head of the library, is considered the founder of the science of geography. Archimedes laid the foundations of hydrostatics and mechanics. Hipparchus made a great contribution to the development of astronomy by preparing star catalogs. One of the most important features of the library was the systematic cataloging and preservation of manuscripts. Callimachus, as a scientist working in the library, prepared a catalog called Pinax. This catalog contains a list of the works in the library and indicates the author, subject, and other important information about each work. This cataloging system formed the basis of modern librarianship. During the last period of the Library of Alexandria, the library suffered great damage. During Julius Caesar's siege of Alexandria in 48 BC, part of the library was burned. During the Roman Emperor Diocletian's siege of Alexandria in the 3rd century AD, the library was damaged again. Finally, on the orders of the Christian bishop Theophilus, the library was completely destroyed in 391 A. The destruction of the library is considered one of the greatest losses of knowledge in human history. The countless works stored in the Library of Alexandria constituted a significant part of the knowledge of the ancient world, and their loss greatly affected scientific and cultural development. Its legacy has inspired the establishment of modern libraries and information centers, and the Library of Alexandria is remembered as a symbol of humanity's hunger and curiosity for knowledge. The Library of Alexandria has been considered important for many reasons throughout history. The Library of Alexandria was the greatest center of knowledge and culture of antiquity. Texts and manuscripts from around the world were collected, studied, and preserved here. The library brought together knowledge from different cultures and civilizations. This provided a unique platform for cultural and scientific interaction. The library hosted the works of the most brilliant scientists and philosophers of the time. Euclid, Archimedes, Eratosthenes, Heron, and Hipparchus worked here and made important scientific discoveries. These names contributed greatly to the development of science by making important discoveries in fields such as mathematics, astronomy, physics, geography, and medicine. The Library of Alexandria is also important for the systematic collection and cataloging of information. The Pinax catalog prepared by Callimachus ensured the systematic recording of the works in the library and laid the foundation of modern librarianship. This cataloging system is a great innovation in terms of storing information in an orderly manner and making it accessible. The Library of Alexandria housed a large part of the knowledge of the ancient world, and this knowledge has been inherited by subsequent generations despite the destruction of the library. Although the destruction of the library was seen as a great loss of knowledge, the work done here and the knowledge gathered inspired later scientific and cultural developments. The Library of Alexandria inspired the establishment of modern libraries and information centers. Its methods of collecting, storing, and organizing information laid the foundation for today's librarianship practices. Moreover, the library's function as a center for scientific research and knowledge sharing is a role model for modern academic institutions and research centers. The Library of Alexandria is remembered as a symbol of humanity's hunger and curiosity for knowledge. It played an important role in the preservation and sharing of knowledge and is remembered as one of the greatest centers of knowledge and culture in human history. If the Library of Alexandria had not been destroyed, its impact on human history and scientific developments would have been much greater. Here are the possible scenarios and outcomes if the Library of Alexandria had survived. The library brought together the most important scientists and philosophers of the ancient world, contributing to scientific and technological advances. If the library had not been destroyed, these scientific advances would not have been interrupted and perhaps would have developed even faster. For example, discoveries in astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and physics would have been made earlier and progress in these fields would have been faster. The continued existence of the library would have been a great advantage in preserving the knowledge of the ancient world and passing it on to future generations. By systematically storing and cataloging written works, the library could have prevented the loss of knowledge. This would have made ancient texts more widely accessible and studied by more people. By bringing together texts and knowledge from different cultures and civilizations, the Library of Alexandria encouraged cultural interaction. The continued existence of the library would allow this cultural interaction to continue and for different cultures to learn from each other, which could increase cultural diversity and understanding. The Library of Alexandria laid the foundation for modern librarianship and information management practices. The continued existence of the library could have led to the further development of techniques and methods in these fields. This would have made it possible to collect, store, and access information more efficiently. The library was an important center for education and learning. If it had not been destroyed, this center of learning could have served as a meeting point for scientists, philosophers, and students for a longer period of time, giving more people access to knowledge. This could have contributed to an increase in the overall level of education and intellectual development. The work and discoveries made at the Library of Alexandria laid the foundations of modern science and technology. The continued existence of the library would have ensured that these foundations were laid more firmly and that the scientific revolution would have taken place earlier. This would have led to a faster and more advanced development of modern science and technology. If the Library of Alexandria had not been destroyed, it could have had a much greater and lasting impact on the accumulation of knowledge and scientific advances in human history. It could have satiated humanity's thirst for knowledge and science earlier and more effectively.